Here's one of Jet Li's American movies he did, The One. I haven't seen this movie since it originally came out in 2001. And even though it has a lot of flaws in it, I think it's a very entertaining science fiction action movie. It's an example of just pure mindless fun. It's not thought-provoking. It's nowhere near as good as his older movies at all. And it's not even his best American action movie, in my opinion, or martial arts movie, even though I don't think the other one's maybe American. I'm not sure. This is entertaining, though. A good quick watch. It lasts like 80 minutes without credits. A good quick watch. I recommend it on like a rainy day. Like if you're in the house and you're bored, just put this in. And it's good enough for that. Now here is the Elder John movie I'm talking about. And this is my absolutely favorite action movie ever made. There has not been any other action movie I have watched that I liked nearly as much as this. There's action movies that I loved a lot, like Commando and Die Hard and all that. But I think Hard Boiled is the best action movie ever made for me. The final action set piece is the best action scene that I've seen put on film. The stuff in the hospital. Great story. Chow Yun-fat is a bad fucking ass. Great villains. Everything. It's the perfect action movie in my opinion. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. There's not one flaw in this movie for me. I can't pick out one flaw. So, other action movies, I could pick out maybe one or two little things. I cannot pick out a flaw in this movie. I think it's fucking perfect. Here's a comedy now. Kind of changing the pace now from horror and action, martial arts to License to Drive. This was out of print for a little while. Walmart was putting it in their $5 bins, so I guess it's back in print. Bought it instantly. This is probably one of my favorite little 80s comedies. I think both the Coreys are hilarious in it, and it's a nice little quick movie. In and out in 90 minutes. Great soundtrack. It's a lot of fun. If you do see it, get it. You never know when it's going to go out of print again. Anchor Bay is unpredictable with these things. A lot of their titles go out of print, in print, whatever. Just pick it up. Don't like it, you can always sell it. Here's the MGM comedy set. It has 4 movies. Weekend at Bernie's, The Party Animal, Meatballs 4, and Hot Dog the Movie. Weekend at Bernie's is a classic. I used to grow up on that one. It's hilarious. Party Animal I have never seen before. I thought it was hilarious. Lots and lots of fun. Hot Dog the Movie I've seen before. Another one that's lots of fun with it has lots of boobs in it. Meatballs 4 is like a guilty pleasure of mine. It's not a good movie whatsoever. But if you like bad movies and bad funny movies, check out Meatballs 4. This is a good set. I recommend getting this set if you're a sex comedy fan, because 3 of the movies are sex comedies. I wouldn't put Weekend at Bernie's as a sex comedy, but the other 3 are. And Party Animal was a hidden treasure in my opinion. I thought it was fantastic. Back cover. Here's one that came out during the summer that was fairly popular. Super 8. And I bought this movie simply because I agree with the fans. It is a fantastic movie. It feels like an early Spielberg movie. He produced it, did not direct this movie. J.J. Abrams directed it, and I think it was fantastic. I was so into this movie from the very beginning to the very end. It feels like E.T. meets the Goonies. It feels like a combination of those 2 movies, and I think it's fantastic. There's some people that call it overrated, overhyped. I can agree with that because, I think the same thing about most of the movies that are released these days that are fairly popular. This one, though, I thought was fantastic. I got a Disney movie. Love Bug. I love the Love Bug. And the first sequel, Herbie Rides Again. I think those 2 movies are 2 of Disney's best movies. Best live action movies. I just love Herbie. Herbie's great. The other movies and series are okay. I really don't care about them. But Love Bug and Herbie Rides Again are fantastic. I can watch this movie over and over again. It's not. A lot of people think that's not my kind of movie, which it really isn't my kind of movie. But I found a lot to like about this one. Here's another Donnie Yen movie, Legend of the Fist. The Return of Chen Zhen. Now, Chen Zhen was the character that Bruce Lee played in Fist of Fury, which I mentioned earlier, and Jet Li played in Fist of Legend. This has been regarded as a sequel. I don't consider it a sequel. I consider it a reboot of the Jet Li movie because the endings to the Bruce Lee and Jet Li one are completely different. I consider this a reboot, and it's a fantastic reboot. It's more comic bookish. I used that word before, and I'll use it again now. It's more comic bookish than the other ones. It has more of a comic book Hollywood kind of look to it. Very stylish, but it's really entertaining, and it's violent. It doesn't look like a movie that you would think would be really violent, but it's a hard R. Very mean-spirited and violent movie, but lots of action and great fights. This is another one that I highly recommend you pick up. But it is on Netflix Instant, so you can watch it there. Slugs, from the director of Pieces. Now, when I said Pieces, if you went, holy shit, I love that movie, you will love Slugs. Slugs is incredible. Fucking awesome, incredible, highly entertaining B-movie. This is one of the best B-movies of the 80s, in my opinion. This movie I can watch any day of the week. It is entertaining. That entertaining. Lots of fun. This is a re-release from Image under the Midnight Madness series. Check this one out. Really check this one out. From the same series, and I'll bring it up right here, is The Stuff. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of The Stuff. This is a great movie. Larry Cohen, director of It's Alive and Q, The Winged Serpent, did this one. It's about killer yogurt, basically. I saw this one as a kid on VHS. It's a really entertaining horror movie. Fantastic cover art. Basically a spoof of The Blob. Really good stuff, though. Really funny. Buy both of these together and you won't regret it. Trust me. Got a Roger Corman set. Roger Corman's all-night marathon. 4 films. You got The Lady Frankenstein, The Velvet Vampire, Time Walker, and Grotesque. Okay. 2 of these films I liked, 2 of these films I did not like. I loved Lady Frankenstein. I was honestly surprised and shocked how much I liked that movie. I thought it was highly entertaining. Velvet Vampire I thought was boring. I couldn't really get through it. Time Walker was just stupid and dull. It was a really stupid movie that didn't do anything exciting. Good concept, did nothing with it. Grotesque is a mess. A big mess of a movie, but it's a highly entertaining mess. It's like maybe 3-4 different films in one, and it has Linda Blair in it. 80s Linda Blair is one of my favorite things in the world, and this movie is just, it's a mess, like I said, but it's a mess that you must see. I recommend it for these 2 films. You can't get these 2 films elsewhere outside the set, so just buy the sets for these 2 films. Lady Frankenstein and Grotesque, I highly recommend. The other 2, I do not. Here's another Johnny Tao film, Vengeance. I think this is one of his newest films. This is a revenge movie. You can tell that by the title, hopefully. Probably one of the most unique revenge movies I've seen. I watched it it's on Netflix Instant if you want to watch it. And it was highly entertaining, original, and I had so much fun with it. But at the same time, it was kind of depressing, some of the things that happen. I recommend this one. Like I said, Netflix Instant. Watch it and you won't regret it. This is probably one of the most entertaining movies I've ever seen. Probably in the top 5. And that's Ricky-O, the story of Ricky. This is the Media Blaster Special Edition. It was supposed to be released on Blu-ray too, but for some reason never happened. Because Media Blasters is having a lot of financial trouble with some of their titles. This movie is the glorious martial arts movie ever made. One of the glorious movies I've ever seen. Pretty much every body part, I won't say every body part, people get smashed, ripped open and everything. This guy right here, Ricky-O, does not fuck around. This movie, just look it up on the pictures, and there's a famous animated picture of a guy getting his head smashed open. And I have it on my profile, Bloody Disgusting. Awesome movie. Awesome, awesome, awesome movie. This is a movie that I've shown to people and they love it. They either love it and they go, oh, that's cheap. Some people just don't understand entertaining movies. They think they all have to have slick production values and special effects. This movie doesn't give a shit about that. It's just entertainment. Ginger Dead Man 3. Roller Boogie Man. No, it's not Roller Boogie Man. It says Roller Boogie Man right there. Saturday Night Cleaver. I wasn't the biggest fan of the first movie, by Full Moon. Second movie I thought was hilarious, and I thought this one was even funnier. It's just good old-fashioned 90s style cheese, which we don't really get that much anymore. And this movie's just entertaining, funny. I wasn't, like I said, big a fan of the first movie, but I thought both of the sequels were really good. And I recommend checking this out if you like B-movie stuff, like B-movies and trash cinema and all that. ThanksKilling. This has become one of my new favorites, and I watch this every Thanksgiving. It is a cheap, cheesy, but fucking hilarious slasher movie about a killer turkey who spits out one-liners and fucks everyone up, and it says right here, "Gobble, gobble, motherfucker." That is an actual line in the movie, not just a tagline on the cover. And it's just really entertaining. A good hour and 6 minutes long, so it doesn't last that long, so you can just sit back and have a good laugh or two. A sequel's in the works right now, supposedly to be released this Thanksgiving. Hopefully it happens, because the turkey needs to come back for more ThanksKilling. This one right here is a movie that I am worried is going to be just forgotten. And I think it's one of the most brilliant horror comedies to come out in a long time. And it's a movie called Chop. It was not written, it was directed by Trent Haga, who was a former Troma employee. He starred in Terror Firmer, co-wrote Citizen Toxie, and he wrote Dead Girl, which was not a Troma movie, but it's one of the best indie horror movies I've seen in the longest time too. Chop is just brilliant. It is hilarious and dark. And if you're a fan of dark horror comedies, watch this movie. I don't want this movie to be forgotten, because I think a lot of people, if they gave it a chance, would love it. Please watch Chop. Rent it. Download it. No, don't download it. Rent it. Or buy it. Watch Chop. Support any... This is a movie that I talk about when I want people to support independent cinema. Movies like this, because this movie didn't even get a limited theatrical release. It just went straight to DVD, because Hollywood in the movies these days, in the movie theaters, they suck because they don't play any good movies. They don't play stuff like this. This movie should be seen in theaters, but sadly, it doesn't work like that anymore. Good movies don't go to theaters anymore. Instead, we get Transformers 3. Who the fuck wants that? Besides some kids with ADD. Yeah, exactly.